By the middle of the 20th century, the 1940s, 1950s, this was the river, James River, Richmond area, the fourth most polluted river in America. And it was so filthy that there were actually health warnings about walking next to it on warm days because the stench was so overwhelming it made you sick. And so, at that point though, nobody really had any incentive to do anything about it. Like I said, most of the old sewer systems, in most cases, they were a straight pipe to the river, some of them. There was very little or no treatment at all. And there was no incentive for, say, the city of Richmond to put in a sewer treatment facility if Chesterfield wasn't going to do it, or Henrico wasn't going to do it, or Goochland wasn't going to do it. Because in order to put in a sewage treatment facility, you've got to raise revenue somehow. You've got to raise taxes, and that's not good for business. So if some forward-thinking city manager in Richmond wanted to put in a sewer treatment plant, well, any potential business would say, oh, that's okay, I'll just go with Chesterfield. Taxes are lower there. So there was no incentive for anybody to really do anything about what was causing the problem. So fast forward a little bit to the early 70s, something did happen, and it's probably the law that really affects, I think, most people in their daily lives. It's probably one of those laws that I think everybody can relate to because it does impact everything that you do. It's the Clean Water Act. And the Clean Water Act made it mandatory for every waterway in North America to be clean enough to swim in and fish in. And in order to do that, it required tougher anti-pollution measures. It required new sewage treatment plants. And in order to incentivize that, the federal government did start making funding available for localities to put in sewage treatment facilities. And in order to incentivize that, they would, for every dollar, say, Richmond would raise, the feds would match it. For every dollar that Chesterfield would raise, the feds would match it. And suddenly it became a competition for federal money to put in bigger and better sewage treatment plants. And so, slowly, actually a little bit quicker than that, the river started to rebound in the early 70s, and it really started to get cleaned up with these new treatment facilities. And in the Richmond area, what really helped us out a lot were Hurricanes Camille and Agnes, actually, were really great at cleaning out the river. It was like nature's big sneeze. Because what happened was, you know, these old dams that they were using to power the mills and power the factories were no longer being maintained, and they were no longer needed. And so when the flooding of Hurricanes Camille and Agnes happened and breached the dams and broke the dams, nobody repaired the dams because they weren't being used anymore. So the river's own ability to clean itself out, to flush itself out, was restored.